Welcome back to Bill's Bets and Beers. I'm your host, Chad. Got a special guest here tonight, uh, college uh, college sports extraordinaire. He had a career in reporting for the news for Channel 13 in Rochester for about 10 years. Did fill in for some sports stuff. He's got some topics. He knows all the information. I'll bring him in. It's Andrew Banas.
Hey, what's going on? Happy to be here. What's happening?
What's going on, man?
Hey, listen, um, excited to be on the show. Thank you for calling me an college sports extraordinaire.
I
Though
mean,
I
y-
played none and only know so by sitting on my couch watching it.
well, all the quarterbacks that came out since, I don't know, 90s, probably 2000s.
You could
So,
go back even further, perhaps. I've been watching, yeah. So where we are, Bills fans, typically that's Northeast college football. People enjoy it, but I think down south it is bigger than the NFL in a lot of places.
oh,
Um,
definitely. I think
so
the rivalries are.
yeah, so I think it's fun to tap into that. I enjoy watching those rivalries and just the atmosphere of college football. I think, ironically, the Buffalo Bills experience is the closest the NFL has to offer to what college football generally has across the board. And my cat agrees.
Yeah, he's a fan, Bills
It's
fan right there.
Bills. You
I
see
see
that?
it.
There you go.
Oh
Now,
man.
yeah, what are you're the NFL extraordinaire.
Yeah,
So
decent
we
enough.
leave that to you, but I'm glad you had me come on this week to help shine a light. If everybody's so excited about Sunday and you think, how am I going to get through Saturday? I just want it to be Sunday. I'm here to say, slow down a little because Saturday, the appetizer sometimes is just as good as the meal. And I think we got a few good appetizers for you tomorrow, which is where we're recording this on a Friday evening,
Yeah.
tomorrow being Saturday. I think we got some good courses or appetizers coming up before the main course on Sunday.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we're gonna be covering top five games, breaking in some Heisman talk, and
Mhm.
then just building a quick parlay for some just our picks for the games and things like that, and just going forward. But yeah, talking about that, let's break into that week 8 top five matchups.
Yeah. So the beauty about college football is there are 140 D1 teams. So any given week, you're going to be able to find a handful of good matchups. And if you're lucky, usually at least one or two epic matchups. Last week, Washington, Oregon was a fantastic game. I would consider it the game of the year so far, and Washington won that one. So I think looking ahead to this weekend's slate of games, we have one that is definitely number one. We're going to get to it, but I'll build up. I'll go from 5 to 1. So
That
we'll
sounds good.
build the suspense a little. Um,
So I know that Washington game was like undefeated against undefeated. Are
yeah,
there many undefeated left now?
there's
Like, is there
still a
probably a
handful
handful?
left, and we're actually going to get to it.
Yeah.
One of the big ones, but yes, there's because again, there's 140 teams. It's not like the NFL where there's 32 and there's a lot of parity. College football, it's heavy on the top, and the weak teams are on the bottom. Right, every year there's only realistically maybe 8 teams that are going to win the championship in any college football season.
Yeah. That's why they got all those bowl games.
Right, and then people might say, "Well, that's not fun, no parity," but it does make the upsets that much more exciting. When a team is favored to win by 30 and they lose, that doesn't happen in the NFL because no team's ever favored by 30. Uh,
It's getting close nowadays.
yeah,
Jesus.
it is getting closer. That's true. Good point. So, yeah, top 5 matchups. Washington or Oregon last week was a fun one because the Pac-12 is actually being disbanded. I don't know if you know this, Chad. So
Yeah, I heard rumors about that like last
it's
couple
already
years.
confirmed gone. And so what we got is the last year of the Pac 12. And ironically, it might be the best conference with the SEC still in mind. The Pac 12 might be the strongest it's ever been in its last possible season. So it's going out with a bang because it has really good teams that could, both those teams last week could contend for the championship, both of them. Even Oregon, who lost, I think still has a chance to get in. So without further ado, let's take our first look at the number 5 game I have on my slate, and I'm going to bring it up again. It's actually Washington versus Arizona State. And Chad, anyone who's watching will say, "Why that one? Arizona State is 1-5. That's not a good matchup." Yes, but I think Washington has become must-see TV, and it's because of their quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. At this point, he's toying with some historic stats, and we're going to have an opportunity. Yeah, it's actually not going to be the most exciting back and forth game. I think Washington's going to win by a lot. What we're now watching is Michael Penix chasing history. We're going to see what kind of records he can break en route to what I think might be an award at the end of the season, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So you tune into that game just to watch the Michael Penix show. And in a year, you'll be watching the Michael Penix show somewhere in the NFL.
That's for sure.
Okay. Number 4. Now we'll get to some real. That was just if you want to watch a good player, that's the game to watch. Now, if you want to watch an actual good matchup, I'm going to say Washington State at Oregon. So there's the other team. And this is the Pac-12 again. Washington State coming off of a tough road loss last week, going on the road again to Oregon. And I'm very intrigued to see how Oregon bounces back. So they gave it their all last week. They marched down the field to kick a game-time field goal that would have sent that game to Washington overtime. They missed it. How do they bounce back? Because I think if they win out, they're still going to have a chance to face Washington again in the Pac-12 championship, the last ever Pac-12 championship. But how do they respond here? They're playing a tough Washington State team. So at number 4, Washington State at Oregon. Now let's go to the SEC. Alabama is hosting Tennessee. Last year, Tennessee and Alabama was the game of the entire season. It was back and forth, back and forth. Bryce Young, who now is in the Carolina Panthers, was in a shootout with Tennessee's high-powered offense. Tennessee won. They won by a field goal at the end. A year later, I want to see how this looks. Alabama is weaker than they've been in a long time, but a weak Alabama is still ranked 11th in the country. So a down year for Alabama is, oh, no, we're not in the top 10.
Oh, they only have 5 players that are going to the NFL the next year?
This is considered their worst year in a decade, and they're ranked 11th. So it tells you how dominant they've been. However, Tennessee could beat them. They beat them last year. They are ranked as well. So you have number 17 Tennessee at number 11 Alabama. That one I expect to be a lot of fun because you're kind of like, is Alabama weak? Or is Alabama maybe going to be able to climb back into the top 10 with a win? Or, there's a lot of different narratives there. So I got that at number 3. Number 2 game of the weekend. Believe it or not, I got Duke, Florida State. Duke, traditionally a basketball school, is currently ranked 16th in the country. Duke is very good at football this year, surprisingly, kind of out of nowhere. And they're going to Florida State. Florida State, by many, is expected to contend for the national championship. The last time Florida State was as good as they are, they had Jameis Winston leading them to a championship in 2013, 10 years ago. So they're back 10 years later. They have a quarterback by the name of Jordan Travis. He's on a lot of people's Heisman ballots. And he's got this team primed to do what they haven't done since 10 years ago. The question is, can they get past tests like this? Because this Duke team is for real. Good defense. Usually you would look at Duke on your schedule and say that's an automatic win. That won't be the case here. So I want to see how Florida State looks hosting a revamped, revitalized Duke Blue Devils team. But the number 1 game of the week is easy this week. And that is the noon kickoff. I love it. It's right at noon. You don't have to wait. Penn State at Ohio State. This is a lot on the line here. Penn State's ranked 7th. Ohio State is ranked 3rd. They're both undefeated. Penn State always plays Ohio State well, but can never get over that hump with them. The last time they beat them was in 2016, and that was largely due to a running back you may have heard of named Saquon Barkley. That was sort of his coming out party. 2 years later, he was on the Giants. But that was the first time I remember hearing the name Saquon Barkley. He gashed all over him. That was 2016, though. It was a long time ago now. So Penn State has not beat Ohio State in that long. This Ohio State team is ranked third in the country, but I do think they're susceptible to being defeated by a really good team. Their quarterback is not as good as who they had last year, CJ Stroud. And I think they've won these like really grinded out tough games. And I think Penn State has a chance to come in there and kind of punch him in the mouth. They have a quarterback, Drew Alar. He's a true freshman. And I think, because you're a true freshman, you won't see him for a little while making it
Yeah.
to the NFL. But I think he's a guy in like a year or two who might start getting some draft buzz. Not yet. He's too young. Give it 2 years, 3 years. I think it's possible he's in like the 2026, 27 draft. That's how good he is. He's a kid right now. He's 18. But I think he can march into Buckeye Stadium and lead the Penn State Lions to their first win there since Saquon Barkley was there. So that's the one to watch. They're both undefeated. The winner of that will have an inside track to go into the Big Ten championship game, likely to play Michigan. And the winner of that game will be going to the college football playoff. So
Okay.
it almost feels like a playoff atmosphere already.
I know the big rivalry, like Ohio, Michigan, all that stuff like that. But like, is Penn State in that? Like, do they have a similar like where they face every year and they always like one is always it's a little bit lopsided? Because I think Ohio, Michigan is kind of lopsided as well, in like winning wise, right? Isn't it like?
Well, you know what's funny? It really the pendulum swings back and forth.
Yeah.
For a long time, the Buckeyes with Urban Meyer at coach were just dominating Michigan. But that pendulum has swung back this way, and Jim Harbaugh has won 2 in a row. And he's poised to win his third game against Ohio State because I think this Michigan team might be the best team in the country. They're ranked 2. Georgia's ranked 1, but I think Georgia's getting a little respect because they've won 2 championships in a row. If you're just looking at the roster, I think Michigan Wolverines are the best team in the country this year.
Oh, it's funny because my father-in-law, he's a Georgia Bulldog fan, and he, for some reason, I don't know if it's an actual rivalry, but he just hates the Bulls. Like, it's
Yeah.
like it's something that like he just goes. It's just every post, every once in a while, like it seems like every one of the 5 posts, it's like something about how like Bulls fans are just like hoping and praying. It's like it's never gonna happen, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Right.
just like they're not even competitive with him. I don't think really.
No.
Like, why are you guys crapping on him so much?
No.
It's like us just like shitting on the Jets all the time. It's like Bills fans don't do that really. They just go, we were down there too for a while, you know? Like,
That's the thing. Pendulum swings, So yeah, that's the game to watch. If you can only watch one game this weekend, it's Ohio State, Penn State, because there are serious playoff implications on this one.
and I think we were talking before. Are they both undefeated, or Penn State have a loss?
Both of them are undefeated.
Okay,
So you're going to lose one of those undefeateds here. I think if Ohio State wins, they cement themselves as, okay, it's us or Michigan that are going to the playoffs. If
that
Penn
makes
State
sense.
wins, I think Penn State actually says there's a new sheriff in town.
That's definitely plausible because, like, I mean, Ohio State just has like the tenure pretty much. They've been up there more often, and within the past 10 or so years, they've been up there competing in a sense, going to the bigger bowl games and everything like that. So
Penn State has always felt like a little brother. Ohio State and Michigan are the big brothers fighting each other, and Penn State's over here. I have a feeling Penn State might be a little closer this time, ready to knock off one or maybe even both big brothers.
it's a bold statement.
We'll see. I'm not picking them over
Michigan, but yeah.
but I think they got a real chance against Ohio State. Real chance.
And yeah, we'll break down like spreads and everything when we get to the parlay, but we'll pick teams. Make a little bit going on.
Okay.
Let's roll into our Heisman watch because obviously Caleb is going to be even. I knew we had a conversation like you. What was you said his name? I know you said it earlier. The junior. I'm thinking Pittman Junior, but I know it's not him. Is it Pittman?
Michael Penix Jr. Yeah.
Penix. I know.
Yes,
I think
I can give you top 5 guys that I think are going to win. The best chances. So I've alluded to a few already. Caleb Williams won it last year, quarterback at USC. He is incredible. He's poised to be the number one pick in the draft. You watch him, and you really do think, wait, is that Patrick Mahomes? Because it kind of looks like him. However, he's coming off of his worst game so far as a collegiate athlete. It was the
Interesting.
first time I saw him look like he wasn't a man among boys. He got picked off 3 times by Notre Dame.
Ooh, and that's a not. I'm not sure how good their defense is, but they're not as like big collegiate. I mean, they're
They got
collegiate, but
after him. They got after him and they pressured him. And I think that for the very first time, I feel like, oof, there's a criticism on Caleb. So we'll see. I mean, every quarterback can have a bad game. It happened.
yeah,
Tom Brady had bad games. It happens to everyone. We'll see how he responds. I'm not saying this guy's not going first overall now. For all we know, he could finish up his career with 50 touchdowns more between now and the time he gets drafted. He's that good.
yeah.
But I do think his Heisman hopes took a small hit there. So I think he's still in the mix. No player has ever won back-to-back Heismans except for one, Archie Griffin, back in the late 70s. So
Possibly record breaking, not record, but tying some records this year if he can get right. If he runs
he can
runs
do
it
it.
up.
So Caleb Williams is in the mix. You got somebody named Jordan Travis I described at Florida State, the quarterback there. I think he's in the mix. I think he's probably going to be a finalist. You think about somebody on Ohio State who's a good team. I don't think it's the quarterback. I think you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., the best wide receiver in the country.
Ooh, when's the last time a wide receiver won that though?
Well, it had been a long time. Charles Woodson won it in 1997, and then nobody did
Okay,
until 2020.
I was trying to think like,
Devontae Smith, who's now with the Eagles,
oh
won.
yeah, he's fast as shit.
He won
I,
it at Alabama with
I
Matt
was
Jones throwing on the ball.
okay. That's all. I'm just curious because like I I think historically majority of the people winning that are quarterbacks, and then you have the random running back or wide receiver that kind of balls in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's more running back side because they're getting more carries, they're getting more yards, and you might get a wide receiver that really pops off one year, but it's usually like a running back getting like 20 touchdowns or
It's
something.
almost entirely. I would call it
Quarterbacks.
92% quarterbacks, 4% running back, and whatever's left. Anything.
So pretty much like the MVP for the NFL, but
almost the
a
same
little
criteria.
bit, but better off for the running backs and wide receivers. They at least have a chance.
Yeah, but I mean, really, like it's like 1 in 100 chance.
Okay.
Right now, I would say your front runner is Michael Penix Jr., the
Okay.
quarterback. He's the guy. Like, if you just want to be like, who do I want to watch? Who's one guy I should just watch? It used to be Caleb, and in a way, it still can be. But Michael Penix this year, what he showed me in that Oregon game, he was making throws where you go, oh yeah, I could see him doing that on Sundays.
Do you see him going drafting before
No,
Caleb though?
unless Caleb's stock continues to plummet and he has more and more bad games. I don't think he will though. I think he'll bounce back.
Okay.
But I think it's a 3 quarterback race for the first round next year when you look at Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., and Drake May at North Carolina.
Nice.
Yep. So anyways, great. A lot of good prospects to keep an eye on.
Yeah. That's definitely good to watch out for because I mean, honestly, who knows what's going on there? Because to me, it's interesting that like the first pick in the draft. I know like Heisman, and like this kid, one of the kids already won one, but like it's weird to me. Like if they're both going into the draft, and one just had a better year that year, I think I would want almost like he has less like mileage on him because I isn't Penix, has he been in just as long in college as Caleb?
I think actually Penix might be a year older than Caleb.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess I would go towards Caleb's side then with that age wise. Actually, just a random question because like I said, I don't know. what, like, I know Caleb's not going to stay in another year. He'd be dumb to, because if he got hurt, he would be out 20 plus millions of dollars.
Mhm.
But if he did decide to, like, where would be the fault of, like, say he stays another year, balls out again, because obviously he's been there for, at that point, 5 years in college,
Mhm.
or 4 to 5 years,
Mhm.
balls out, makes a couple $1 million in his NIL, whatever, and then gets to the NFL. Do you think that would look better on him? Because yes, he's older, but like the people picking him up, he would be at more of a pro level because he's had now 5 solid seasons in a row. They know what to expect from him. You know what I mean? Or like 3 solid. Do you think that would benefit, or that would hurt his
Chad, I
his?
think that's what GMs have to decide. Look at
I'm just curious what your opinion, because you've seen college and how they come out.
yeah,
Like, I feel like that
make a
could
comparison in
benefit
this
in
year's
general.
draft for you. Anthony Richardson. He went to the Colts. Was it
Yep.
number 4 overall?
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson played 1 full season. And in that season, the Florida Gators went 7-5. So he wasn't
One season.
one
Wow.
season and they went 7-5. They weren't wowing anyone. He was picked based on pure potential. Somebody said this guy's got the athletic tools. We think he
Josh Allen, hope and dream
We
throw.
think he can be like Josh Allen. That honestly, I mean, I'm serious because he didn't actually do anything at college. He had a few wow plays, but they weren't winning games. Not really. 7-5 is not really anything special. He wasn't winning championships. He wasn't even contending for them. Played one
Yeah.
season, and his athletic tools. They said, well, maybe we can mold him and get him. So they were like, let's get him young, and he's not a finished product, but we'll train him up. We'll see how that looks. He's already injured and out for the season, so
Yeah.
it's
Was it?
potential that does not work out for them.
Do you think that was surprising he even went up to the draft? Like, was he just like a set? I didn't follow him that much, but was he like a bench player up, like a QB2 for a long time,
No,
and
he
then
was
became a QB1?
young. He was a freshman the year before, and he got in on some glimpses, and you could see he was pretty athletic and good. And then he took over the team for
Wow.
1 year. But yeah, he's young. I mean, I think he might be 21 now.
Yeah, it's true. I guess with Edmonds, he came in at 19.
Yeah.
So
So it just sort of depends sometimes.
okay, I always thought, like, when you got to the draft, they generally got in there around like 20ish, age 20, like 2 to 3 years in the school. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I thought they got 2 to 3 years, like, because uh, yes, if you're good enough, you don't redshirt 1 year, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, they have so many players on a team. Like, if you can come in, have decent talent, but you're
Mhm.
not as good as all the starters, and you would have to sit a year, pretty much, be on the practice squad almost.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's wild. After 1 year in, he just bounces out. Sophomore year in college, just goes out and makes. He's still gonna make money this year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Making
Exactly.
probably 8 million this year. At least
He
he's a
got
first
the
round pick.
lottery ticket and he took it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Speaking
Okay,
of lottery, we got
yeah,
to talk about money.
let's go. Oh yeah, let's go into some. Let's go into build the same game parlay.
Okay.
I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Mhm.
I got it pulled up and shared. It should be still logged in. I got it to the college area. Like I
Mm,
said, it's gonna pull up on the screen. It might be a little small on
I
your
see.
side.
Yep.
So I'm gonna see if I can separate the teams here, because these games would be freaking longish. Okay, so we got Penn State, Ohio State.
Mhm.
That is a crazy spread. I don't think I've ever seen anything in college less than a 7 point spread.
Yeah, so this is why I'm saying this is gonna be a
Five
really good
points.
game. I'm gonna say this.
Because if they win, they're probably winning by a field goal area.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna say. This was one of my suggestions.
I
This is
would
what
give Penn
I
State
want you
plus
to
five.
start building it off of this. I think this game is close. I think Penn State might win it outright. And because I believe that, I think you play the spread because if they lose, it's gonna be by a field goal. I think you pick Ohio State or Penn State to cover that,
Oh, I
if
would.
not win
That's
outright.
That's easy. I was looking at that. I was like, I would take Penn State because
I think it's a bloodbath. I think it's close. I don't think either team wins by more than a few. And I think if Penn State's going to be competitive till the very end, I think they're going to win it personally. So I'm happy picking that spread.
I think it's going over, but I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Do you think? Actually, you know what? They're definitely scoring more than 20 points apiece. 20.
Yeah. I think this is
You
going to be a
you
defensive battle.
a defensive battle. Okay, I'll go
I
with
think
you.
it's going to be close.
I'll go with you for that one.
Yeah, but let's roll down a little more because there is another one I want to point out to you. So
Ooh,
keep
let's see.
going there, keep going. And I'll know when I see it. I'll let you know. I'll give you a holler.
Well, there's Tennessee, Alabama.
Yeah, I want to have you stop right there.
That one, 8.5 to Tennessee. Alabama hasn't been as great.
Yeah.
Have they been dominating their games, or have
No,
they been pretty close?
they've been close. In fact, they haven't won much by more than a touchdown, which is why I want to pick Tennessee. I think Alabama's going to win the game. I think they're going to win the game by less than 8, though.
No, I would see that. That seems pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's gonna be high scoring or like?
I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be back and forth affair.
So like a 20-something, 30-something game, or like
It's going to be around there.
I'm gonna pick the over on this one.
Yeah, I
So
agree with that.
there
And
are some overs.
I got one more you see right there that I want to make sure we touch on.
This are you talking
I
this one?
think Oregon is going to bounce back in a big, and I mean big way.
Ooh, plus
I think
20.
I think they cover that. I think they
Okay,
win by 3 or more touchdowns.
that's a big over too.
Yeah. I got them winning big. I
Okay,
think they
I'll
bounce
take
back
that one.
in a major way.
I'll take that. I'll take them. I'll take those odds on that. Let me see if this is still counting up for me. Yeah, it's still counting up. Making sure it's taking it. Do you think that goes over, or like, do you think that's a little high, 60? Do you
I
think they
I
score like 40-something points and the other people score like 20-something, or
I
like?
think if Oregon is going to win by 20, it's partially because Washington State does not score a bunch. So
Okay, yeah,
I like the under or
that's
nothing.
that's touch. That's still a touchy there. I'd rather go
Mhm,
towards something else because I
mhm.
was like,
Okay.
okay. Um, is UConn like? They always seem like a big school. Are they like garbage this year, or like?
UConn is good at basketball, not
Yeah, that's
not good
why
at football.
they're always. I always hear their name because of basketball around here. That's right.
Yeah. They're
So
really good at basketball. They just won the championship last year, but not in football.
hey, there's Wake Forest. I think they did something last year, right?
Yeah, but their quarterback now plays for Notre Dame.
Oh man, of course the NIL is destroying all the stuff,
That's
right?
right. That's right. He left.
Ball State. Oh man, that's funny as shit. We'll play ball in Ball State.
Yep.
Let's see what's going on here. How about that Auburn Old Miss?
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I like Ole Miss to win by more than a touchdown.
That's interesting because Auburn was always up in the mix going up
I like Ole
against
Miss though. They got
Alabama.
Lane Kiffin, and they are explosive.
Am I wrong? Like I always remember like when I was in the military, anyways. Like Auburn was like up there all the time with Alabama. It was like Auburn, Alabama,
They're in some down
Auburn,
years.
Georgia.
They're in some down years.
Ooh, TCU. That's interesting.
Mhm.
I don't know much about that, but I know TCU's been doing better lately.
They went to the championship last year, got destroyed by Georgia.
Well, I mean, you can't help that too
At least
much.
they made it.
Yeah, they had their games, you know. They had of course, Michigan's 24.5 in that one. Jesus.
I got one more.
Oh, that USC Utah, right?
Got one more, and then I'm
Or
gonna
no?
let you go.
Hey, what's going?
Utah's gonna win that game.
You think Utah's got it?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll get that one. I don't care. It's not gonna affect mine.
And there you go.
It's-
That's
And
it. And I want you to put your life savings down.
where is that last? Oregon, Utah. That's what it was. You mentioned this one too, right? Oregon, Utah.
Yeah.
3.5.
Now, this is a different week because they're
Oh,
not.
it is? Okay. Yeah, it is. I was like, where is this going? I'm
Mhm.
surprised they dropped. There's no date. Oh, there it is. There's the date line. So we got all the ones in there. So we're picking Utah, USC. There's other games. I might have missed. Oh no, this one, Washington, Arizona State.
I mean, that's a huge line, so it's hard
That
to
is
say. But
that is massive.
Washington will win by a lot. I don't know if it's going to be that much, but it could be.
I might go the safe route and just say Arizona State 27 and
I
a
don't
half.
know if
That
that
seems
is safe though. Washington's really good.
that is true. They
They could,
just said put
they
up
could win
against.
40-0, honestly.
Okay, that seems good. I think we got enough. Like that's
Lock it in, baby.
over under. That's a little bunch over there.
Lock it in, and then
If they if
I gotta go hit the hay.
oh dude, I got you with my bonus on here. My little plus 50%. Make it worth money's money's.
Lock that in, my man.
Let's get 145 bucks off this.
There we go.
There it is. Got $2. Got a profit of 143 if I win.
That's good
I'll
stuff.
get I'll get you some lunch if we get it, you know.
Deal.
But
Deal.
hey, dude, it was great having you on. I hope you had a fun time.
I'll be back. I'll preview next week's.
Yeah, we can make this a weekly thing. Maybe like you want to do it Fridays, like we can figure it out.
Yeah, we'll
Get a
play
nice
by ear. Play it by
get a
ear.
nice little date set up, like because you have an idea of how long it's gonna go, about
That's
30 something
perfect.
minutes.
I loved it.
So I understand. I got good little kids too in the room over there right past this wall. So
Yeah. Just put him down, and I'm going down.
okay. Well, I'll see you later, man. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. Great time. We'll do it again.
Yeah, dude, definitely. Peace.
All right, man.
I got my college guru here. I can do some college videos
Dude, I
now.
got you, man. I got you.
I'll have to get you on with my buddy. He loves football too, and he knows all the scouts and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see the chat up.
All right, perfect.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you later, man.
Chad, you're the man.
Peace.
All right, see you, bro.
Well, that was my buddy Andrew. He, like I said, he knows his stuff about college like no other. So, like I said, he doesn't have any socials or anything like that. I just work with him at my work, and he knows we always talk football. So I figured I'd get him on the podcast. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys liked it. If you are a fan, give me a like and subscribe. Leave some comments. Give some feedback. I'm always up for feedback, positive, negative. It always helps the channel. I do have some upcoming videos. I'm gonna be doing Bills Pats post game reaction. I'm gonna try to do it that day. But yeah, that's it. Go Bills, and I'm out.